Okay, hey everybody, I got a nice sunset here on the top of this hill. You're looking off, and then in the background is Oceanside, California. But I'm actually going to make a video tonight. The main emphasis of this video is I want to talk about the Google AdWords and how that works. But I got to make a couple quick comments first before I start the video. The first comment I'd like to make is about the Betty Jo Shelby case, where she was found not guilty of killing Terrence Crutcher, this manslaughter case. You know, I made that video, and I made the video right after it happened, and I thought pretty generous as far as not really condemning what, you know, the conclusion of the jury. The more I thought about it, the more I looked at it, the more I realized they didn't really do a very good job of trying to prosecute her. That was never ever the intent of the prosecution to get a conviction on her. They did a really lame job of trying to convict her. It was just all basically a show. And not that I say police like to kill people, because I don't think police like to kill people. I think it's a very rare event. And I have friends that are police officers, and the last thing they'd ever want to do is kill anybody. But sometimes people do it, and when they do it, they should be held accountable for it. And the fact that she did kill the guy means she should have been held accountable. I mean, it's obvious. It was on video. Anything less than a conviction for her was just a complete travesty. Should have been convicted of murder, manslaughter at least. Should have been convicted of manslaughter, because that tape was horrific. It was horrific. The guy's walking away. He's got his hands up in the air, and she shoots and kills him. And comes up with this defense that he's trying to reach into a car with the window closed to get a gun. I think it was just a whitewash. Just people trying to say we had to do something, so we're going to try to throw some sort of a case together here, but we're not going to vigorously try to prosecute her, and I don't think they did. So God help Tulsa, Oklahoma. God help Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know, people who live there, they have to deal with this kind of decisions, these kind of people that are in charge of their governments. You know, these kind of people. God help them. God help them. This is a miscarriage of justice, and that's my opinion. It was a total miscarriage of justice, and I don't think that really came through in that video, and I wish it would have, because it really was a miscarriage of justice. The second thing I'd like to talk about is I'd like to talk about this thing with Comey and Donald Trump. I listened to Sean Hannity the other night on Fox News, and I think the guy's a clown. If there ever was a clown, I don't think anybody could be a bigger clown than Sean Hannity. He spent the first 15 or 20 minutes of his show talking about how if Trump had told Comey to stop the investigation from the Russians, and that was obstruction of justice, Comey should have come up right away the very next day and said, Trump broke the law. Trump told me to stop the prosecution, and Trump is guilty of obstruction of justice, and he broke the law, and so on and so forth. And, you know, should have made it known the very next day. And then he's get this clown on named Jay Sekulow, supposed to be some constitutional lawyer, that says the same thing. Comes up there and says, oh yeah, Comey never said anything about Trump telling him to not prosecute, and because he didn't say anything, that's a crime within itself. That's a real crime right there. You know, Comey's guilty of a felony because Comey didn't come forward with the news that Trump told him not to continue with the investigation. Which is, and people buy this stuff. They listen to a guy like Hannity, and they look to a guy like Sekulow, and they buy this garbage. The fact of the matter is a guy like Comey he's got a legal mind, and he also knows, been in political positions. And what he would do is he would memorialize his conversation with Donald Trump. He wouldn't go out the next day and go to the press and say, Donald Trump told me to stop the investigation on the Russians, and that's obstruction, and he needs to go to jail for that and everything. No, nobody would do that. Nobody in their right mind would do that. What they would do is they would memorialize the conversation by writing it down, keeping a record of it, and by memorializing it, having it dated in the journal and having that all memorialized and recorded. That would be a record of what took place during that conversation. He did that. He kept a record of it. And Why you would do that is because that's the best way of knowing something happened the way it happened, having it happen in your own handwriting, telling what happened in the meeting, having that all fallen in order with what it is you wrote the day before and the day after, and then having in your own writing, knowing exactly what happened. And then if there's an investigation, bringing out your information or your memorializing the events would be what the investigation would be about, which is what probably will happen. Not this idea that, oh, Trump broke the law, and as soon as Trump broke the law, we got to come forward with that. That would never happen. That's a stupid way of even thinking that it would happen. Not in a million years, because Trump could say something like that. He says crazy stuff all the time. Trump could just, out of the clear blue sky, go, hey, Comey, we should stop this thing with the Russians. Comey probably wouldn't do anything about it or even say anything was wrong with what he said, because at that point, there wouldn't be any other events along with that, what he said, to make it a reason to investigate. You need all this other stuff to make it a reason to investigate, along with Comey's notes. So this idea that Trump is scot-free because Comey never said beforehand, at the time the conversation took place, that Trump was trying to keep him from investigating this thing going on with the Russians. So it's just nuts. So Trump probably said all this stuff, and not only did Trump probably say all this stuff, he probably acted on it and probably acted on it with other people. So there's probably a lot of things that will be uncovered through this investigation that are not going to be very favorable for Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's got a big mouth and shoots his mouth off and says crazy stuff all the time. So all this will probably come out. Okay, now to what I was going to talk to in the beginning of the video. I kind of mishmashing all this together. I want to talk about AdWords. Google AdWords. I've been a Google AdWords person since the early 2000s when Google AdWords first came out. And when Google AdWords first came out, it was a gold mine. You could literally buy a keyword, and if you bought the right keyword, you could make a fortune, because you'd be the only person showing up in the search engines. In fact, back in the early days, I don't think they put ad by your ad. It would just show up in the search engines as an organic result, and it was fabulous, unbelievable. But then as it started to get more popular, the AdWords got more expensive, and it got to a point where I quit AdWords because it got so expensive I couldn't afford it, and I was spending thousands and thousands of dollars and getting no return. So today they have a way of doing AdWords that if you're not doing AdWords, you're really crazy, because it works so well. And let me give you, for instance, how AdWords works. A good AdWords campaign works is, sorry about that, I got a bug in my mouth. Let's say you have a lot of times building a website, developing a website, getting it to show up organically for a really ideal keyword takes time and energy, and more energy than most people want to put into it, more money than most people want to put into it. For instance, like in my case, I don't even want to deal with a client unless they want to throw at least $3,000 to $5,000 on a website. I do not want to do the Google Places. I do not want to do all the stuff it takes in order to build a really high-level WordPress website, do all the plugins, follow up with all the information, make sure that all stuff gets done correctly, and I don't even want to tackle all that unless somebody comes up with $3,000 to $5,000. A lot of people don't want to do it, because there's a good chance if you come up with $3,000 to $5,000, you're not going to see that money back for a while, and so people just do not want to risk it, or they don't want to do it. So a lot of businesses are running pretty tight. They don't want to put money into something without getting a pretty quick return. That's fine. I understand that. But with a Google AdWords account, if you don't want to invest in a website, what you can do is you can target somebody else's website. For instance, your competitor. You can target their website. How you do this is you go to you set up a Google AdWords account. And when anybody goes to their website, Chrome browser will remember the website they were on shopping. So the next time they goes to a website that Google can have their AdWords on, or their AdWords, they can put Google placement ads on, your ad will show up. And I'll tell you how this works. Let's say you're selling auto parts, used auto parts, salvage yards, because I deal with a lot of salvage yards. And I go to Rock Auto, which is a big, or let's say, not at Rock Auto, let's say AutoZone or one of these auto places that you can buy car parts at, or used car parts or remanufactured car parts. So they got a lot of traffic. They got 5,000 to 10,000 visitors every week to their website. So I go on there, I spend a little time looking for an auto part. I don't find an auto part that I want. Now I go to my Facebook. Guess what? Your ad can show up on Facebook because the Chrome browser remembers that they were on an auto parts place looking for an auto part, so they know that's something on your mind. So the next time you go to another place where Google can display their ads, your ad can show up. Maybe you go to USA Today, your ad can show up. So your ad can show up at places after the person was on the website that it is that they were shopping. So they go to a competitor's website, they shop for a little bit, and then they go to another website, and guess what? Your ad shows up. That's an easy way to get your information out there, get your business out there without spending a lot of money and time trying to build an organic website or trying to spend a lot of money doing all the organic website stuff. So that's a great way of using AdWords. And that's only one. There's the remarketing, there's the targeting, there's a ton of ways of doing this. But if you don't want to put a lot of money into something, because I think AdWords campaigns can run for as little as $33 a month, and it's very inexpensive to set up the campaign. You can do a lot of marketing for a very little bit of money, and you can do it very precisely and very strategically and very surgically with the way Google AdWords works today. And the ability for Google's a big sponge of information. Google collects information on people all day long. Google is, gives you away a lot of free stuff. They give you YouTube. They give you Gmail. They give you all these Google tools that you can use. Google Voice that I use almost every day. All this stuff is free, but what they ask in return is information. Google Maps, Google Place, all the stuff that we use every day is all free. But what you want to do is you want to be able to capitalize on that stuff so that now you can go to Google, get that information that they've collected, and use that information to market to people. And that's what a Google AdWords campaign is. It's an ability to capitalize on all the information and wealth of information Google has and use that information to your advantage to market to people. And not only to do that, then to have a Google AdWords account where you can actually track that, see how many impressions you get, see how many clicks you get, and see where all the people are coming from that are watching your ad, and then target competitors' websites and have your ad show up. If you can't market on their website, market on the next website that person goes to. So anyway, really, really, really powerful stuff. I know this video went a little bit long and it was a little bit weird because I talked about other stuff, but I just wanted to stress the Google AdWords thing because it's very, very important. If I didn't really convey the message very well, just give me a call. My number's down there somewhere on this video, so you can take a look at it and give me a call. I'll show you how to work. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hope you have a nice day.